So what I'm doing here, this bank drops straight down. So I'm trying to get my plug kind of parallel to the bank, because it's real deep right beside that edge, and the bass probably up against there. Of course, there could be some out here deeper too, but I think they'll relate to that cover around those rocks. So that's what I'm trying to do. I especially like these places where a rock juts out, like right there and right there. That's a real good place for a bass to sit. I think it's another small one. He's fighting though. He's strong for a little fish. All right, I'm gonna fling him on in here. There he is. Another one on the deep diving crankbait. Been a pretty good morning. Haven't caught anything big, but I've been catching a lot of these small ones, having fun. He came off that deep rock right there that kind of juts out into the channel. Probably a ledge right there. All right, fella. I'll be darned, there's another one. Oh yeah. Wow, these little bass are biting. Another little fella. Alright, you go on back in there. I don't know if you can see it. That's a bassy looking little spot right up in there. Oh yeah, look at it. I'll be darned. As soon as I reeled, there he was. Oh, that's another little one. I tell you what, I threw up in there. I hadn't reeled it a foot. He grabbed it. These little ones are aggressive this morning. I like big ones, but I like catching little ones too. You cute little fella. I love you even if you are little. Alright, let's put that one back. There's one hit that deep diver. Feel like pretty fish. Not bad. Yeah, nice fish. I'm gonna try to swing him in. There he goes. Yeah. Went to this deeper plug. Got a bigger lip on it. It's actually the same color. But I've been catching nothing but little fish on that other plug, so I decided to go a little deeper and caught this pretty good one right here. Yep. Pretty fish. You can see how deep those rocks look right there. See, it's almost like a cliff comes down. River channel runs right in there along that edge. So, all right, buddy, let's put you back. Sometimes you throw it in the tree. Alright, so I threw my line up in the tree. It wrapped several times. Alright, so we're going to talk about another little tackle tip here. Like I say, most of you guys fish a lot already know all this, but I'm going to go over it just in case there's somebody that doesn't. Maybe somebody new fishing might be watching this. So I just threw my plug up in the tree. Got around this branch. I broke the branch off, but the line's all tangled around it. Now I could unwind it, you know, like so, and go back to fishing. There's a stick. I could go back to fishing, right? But here's the thing. Once that line has been around that limb or it's hit a rock, it could be compromised. I always like to feel it like that real easy. I just run my finger, especially over that first 2-3 feet. And a lot of times you'll feel like a little nick, a little rough spot. Let me tell you something. You hook a big fish, that line's going to break right there at that spot. And you know why? Because you didn't retie that knot. So here's what I do. It's a pain in the butt, because I stop sometimes 40, 50 times a day and retie. But I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to pull out probably maybe 10 feet of line just to be safe. And I'm going to cut that line off. Now I'm back up here to where I got good line. And I'm going to retie that plug. And it's a little bit extra effort, but it pays off. Back in the years ago when I used to tournament fish, I would always learn to do that, because when I started out, I'd snag my line on a rock or a tree or something. Next thing you know, I'd hook a fish and break a line. Then I lost the fish and my lure and maybe the tournament. So, take the time, cut off a few feet of line, and retie. You'll be glad you did. Let's go fishing now. That's a little one. Another little fella. Alright, so let's put him back in the water. There he goes. I like it when they come back and give me that extra jump. That's a little one. Spicy though. Yeah. Got that hook deep in that hard part of the mouth right there. That's what you want. He came off that rock right there. I'd worked that with a crankbait, but didn't get a bite, so then I changed over to that lizard, got him. Alright, fella. You going back in there. Oh yeah, there's a good one. That feels like a pretty good fish. That's the best one of the day. You hit that zoom lizard. Pretty fish. Yeah. So I'll tell you what I was doing different right here. I've been fishing all up and down this rocky shoreline with a crankbait. I've been catching a lot of fish, mainly small ones. But I got right down here, and I don't know if you can see it. There's a big dead tree in the water right there. And the tree comes way out. I can see the limbs way out here. So I didn't want to throw a plug through that. So what I did was put on my lizard, a zoom lizard, and I worked it through those limbs. And he was right there on the end of it. Nice fish. Let's put you on back in there, brother. Pretty bass. Alright, so I'm out here on the lake this morning fishing, and I just broke a tip off of a rod. So I want to give y'all a little tip. Haha. Anyway, there's a little piece I broke off. Broke off probably about 1.5 inches of the rod. And I'm an old retired guy living on a tight budget, so I try to fix things and make things last as much as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I carry around with me to make these repairs real quick while I'm out here on the water. So like I said, there's the tip that broke off. I guess you can see that right there. So what I do is I carry some spare rod tips. You can buy these anywhere, Walmart or Bass Pro, but I carry, several of them in different sizes because you want a different size with a different hole in the end to fit different rod sizes. And if you only break off a little bit of an end of a rod, you can salvage that rod by putting a new tip on it. It may not have exactly the same action, but better than throwing it away. So what I do is I got this little rod tip. I got me a glue stick, and I got me a lighter. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully his lighter's going to work. There we go. So I'm going to heat up that glue stick, and I'm sure anybody watching this has probably used one of these before. Get that glue soft, and I'm going to smear some on the end of that rod tip right there. Pretty good sized gob of it. And then before it cools, I'm going to slide this new rod tip on here. Like so. Of course I want to make sure it lines up with my other eye. Alright, so there you go. New rod tip on there. Only took a minute. I'll be back to fishing here pretty quick. I'll dip it down in the water to cool the glue. Alright, so there you go. Broken rod tip, no problem. Fix it and get on to fishing. Another little one. He's feisty. Another little fella. Alright, buddy. Put you back in there. There you go. Show off a little bit. Not very big, but he sure is strong. Can you do the bass dance for me, buddy? There you go. I love it when y'all do that. Thank you. Alright, so I'm going to talk about another little tackle tip here this morning. Been out here catching a few bass, all small ones so far. But anyway, every fish I've caught, I've had to get the pliers and dig the hooks out because they've been hooked so good. And the reason for that is keeping the hooks sharp. And of course, most experienced fishermen already know this, but I'll talk about it anyway. Any lure that you're using, it's important that those hooks are needle sharp. I want them to be so sharp that I can stick them in my fingernail. That's how I kind of test them. And I use a couple different things to sharpen them. This is a simple whetstone, and it's got, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a groove in it. And you take that hook and you put right in that groove, just like that. And I mean, it'll sharpen them really quick. It doesn't take many strokes. That's needle sharp right there. Then I'll move to the next hook. I do the same thing. Yep. And the next one. See if we can see that right there. See that groove? I just run that hook up and down in that groove right there. And you can get a sharpener like this anywhere, Bass Pro or any tackle shop probably. Another one I use that's really good. This one is made by Berkeley. And it's got a steel rod, and it's also got a groove in it. I think you might be able to see that. And it's the same principle. I take that hook, put it in that groove. Can you see that right there? Get them sharp. Because you know when that plug is bouncing along the bottom, hitting rocks and stuff, those hooks are getting dinged up, and they'll lose their sharpness really, really quick. So just a little tip: keep those hooks sharp. You'll catch a lot more fish. You like I say, I hardly ever lose a fish on one of these simply because the hooks are sharp. There's one. I think that's another little one. Oh, yeah. Some little fish. Alright, so we're going to talk about another little fishing tip here this morning. Had somebody ask me recently that saw one of my videos and said, well, you know, what's this thing on your rod right here? See that? Well, that is a rod float. It's not the prettiest thing. A lot of people wouldn't like it on their rod, but I'm gonna tell you what. Years and years and years, I've been down here fishing, and every now and then I kick a rod in the water, or a limb hooks it and pulls it over in the water when I'm not paying attention, and down to the bottom it goes. And of course, tackle's expensive. So I finally broke down and started putting these on my rods. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's been a game changer. I've kicked rods in the water several times since I started using these, and I just go get it right out of the water. It floats a rod. So really simple to use. You can get these at Bass Pro Shop, and you know, probably other places, tackle shops. I think I ordered these from Bass Pro. But basically what it is, it's got a split in it, and you just slide it on the rod like so. And then it comes with a couple little Velcro straps. So then all you do is put the Velcro strap around it, and you can tighten it up. And you can tighten that Velcro tight as you want, so the float will stay down here near the base of the rod. That's where I like to keep it. Sometimes it'll slide up, but I just retighten these when it does. But that right there will float just about any rod I've ever tried it on. It has floated every rod I've tried it on. And because I've experimented with some big heavy rods like a flipping stick, with a big reel and it floated it. So just a little tip, if you've ever had some of the same problems knocking your rods in the water and losing them, and this is even more important when I'm out in a kayak, because you know obviously the chance of a kayak flipping over or something is a lot more likely to lose some tackle than being out here in the regular boat. So anyway, just want to show you that. Matter of fact, I might just do a demonstration. I'll show you up here what I'm talking about. Full length heavy action rod with a bait cast reel on it. It's got that float on it. There it goes, over and under the water. And as you can see, it's floating. These things work. There you go. There's one. Oh yeah. Strong, that's good fish. Oh yeah. Look at that, pretty fish. Yeah. He was hooked good. Yeah, look at that. Look at the belly on these. Nice fish. So the sun's gotten up. It's been going in and out from cloudy to sunny, and now that the sun is real bright and hot, I've been fishing at shade. It's still deep rock, but you see how it's shady over there under those bushes? I think they like that. So that's a pretty fish. Let's go ahead and put him back in. Let him catch him again one day maybe. Alright fella, you sure are pretty. I enjoyed catching you. Are you going to swim away? There he goes. Took him a minute. Oh yeah. Well, that's a good one there. Oh yeah. He is strong. Good. Good. Old flathead cat. You know, a lot of people think that you can't catch these on lures, but I catch them all the time. I catch them on plugs, topwater lures. Of course, I catch them on these lizards and worms sometimes. I thought you were a big bass. You've disappointed me. It's still fun reeling them in. I like catching any kind of fish.